Okay, so tonight, it's like I said, it's gonna be like a 2-part thing where some of it's gonna be tonight, and then next week, which is gonna be Wednesday the 20th, it's gonna be part 2. It's huge about learning social media. Tonight's gonna be more about like engagement and how we can use our own personal brand in order to create value and engagement. So that's kind of what I want to go in tonight a little bit about. And then next week, we'll talk a little bit more about how to expand your market. So, all right, let's get cracking here. Okay, can you guys see that? Is it on there yet?
Not yet.
No, okay. Oops. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, building your Beachbody biz. And when I say social media, I'm mostly talking about Facebook at this point. We've gone into some Instagram, but for the most part, this is really about Facebook. There's a lot of things you can apply to this that will pertain to Instagram or, Pinterest or Tumblr, however else you choose to. But majority of this is through Facebook. So take notes. Okay, so before I start, I want to talk about the idea of consistency, and we've talked about this many times. But if you didn't have consistency, the other stuff that we're going to talk about doesn't even matter, honestly. And that's a little dramatic, but honestly, consistency. I mean, think about like a storefront. If you have a store and you open your doors whenever you feel like it, maybe it's 9 a.m. on a Wednesday or 4 o'clock on a Friday or, noon on a Saturday, people don't know what to expect. They're going to stop coming by your store. And it's the same concept when we do posts on Facebook or Instagram. You've got to be consistent. I like to do mine. I use both my business and my personal. We'll get a little more into detail about that. But honestly, for sure on my fitness page, my business page, I post at least 3 times a day, probably about 4 if it's really, really good content. And then sometimes I'll share that over my personal page. We won't go too into depth about that. But regardless of what you're using, 3 times a day is really a minimum. And again, we'll go into what you can post about, but it doesn't have to be all Beachbody. So for those of you who are like, well, I don't want to, shove things down people's throats and bother them with my businesses. Well, first of all, you should be proud of your business. But second of all, we're not walking billboards for Beachbody. We're not at all. We are our own brand. We are our own people who happen to be Beachbody coaches, okay? So momentum, this goes back to the consistency. If you constantly are posting things, that momentum is going to take over. People are going to start coming to you versus you going to them because they're going to trust you with your consistency. That's going to build trust and credibility that this is not a fad for you. Like, this is a legit thing. So if it takes you sitting down and scheduling things, then do that. But consistency above all is so extremely important because there are so many voices out in the social media world that can override you. And if you're not the consistent one, you're going to get shoved down to the bottom. And it's true. The second you stop posting, they stop watching. They think, okay, well, I haven't seen from this girl in a while, and she's probably just over this whole deal. Like, I'm not going to trust her to be my coach or trust her to help me build my own business because I haven't seen anything from her in weeks, or maybe it's once a week. So consistency is just so extremely important. Hang on, guys. All right, had to shut the door. So I think I've told you this story before, but one of the coaches on our team called me and said, I know another coach, but she's not as consistent as you. And that really rung a bell. And she said, I've been looking at your post for like a year now. And that shocked me that it's been that long that she'd been watching. And I didn't know she was watching, but I've been watching your things for a year, and you have been consistently consistent with everything, your message, with who you are, with your progress, with all this sort of stuff. And I want to learn from you. And so that meant a lot to me. And it showed me how true this idea of consistency is. So it's always after the first slide I have the worst trouble. Sorry, guys. Building relationships. it really does start with you. You know, we've talked about this kind of stuff before. People could buy Beachbody programs from anybody. But why would they want to buy from you? And not necessarily buy, like, let's get out of that selling, mantra here, but why do they want to connect with you? You are that brand. You are the coach. This is your business. We talk a lot about, sharing your story and connecting with people. And that is, your story is extremely powerful. I don't know if you guys listened to that video that I posted in the group, but your story is the most powerful tool you have. It's the tool that's going to be able to connect you to people and allow you to be relatable to people. We have that, I've talked about that book, The Jab, 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 Right Hook. And this is a quote from him is, it really is just about being human and telling your story. So, but I think that's where a lot of people get really confused in the whole building relationships, because they think, well, do I just send messages to people? Do I just, do do that? And yes, that's good. You want to, create relationships like that. But what's so important is for you to be able to be consistent on your message, about who you are and what brand you are. So that kind of brings me to a subject we have talked about before, but I'd like to touch on it again. And that is really understanding your niche market. Pick those 3 to 5 things that describe you. I kind of did this in the group about a week ago to kind of get your minds going. But what are 3 to 5 things that describe you, that you're really passionate about, or maybe even that you like? For some people it could be shoes, or it could be makeup or hair, or just the fact that you're a busy mom, or maybe you're a college student, or maybe, you have 4 dogs, or whatever that may be that describes you. The key thing is that you don't have to be a fitness professional in order to build your network based on who you are. So I heard a really good story that I wanted to share with you. There was a girl, and she was a singer, and she was like a punk rock singer. I mean, you don't really picture that to be a Beachbody coach, right? But the thing is everybody, no matter who they are, wants to be healthy and fit. They want to feel confident. They want to feel strong and sexy, and whether it's male or female, they want to feel good about themselves. It doesn't matter if they're a horseback rider, a punk rock singer, whatever they are, a mom, a dad, a runner, a teacher, they all want to feel good. So when going back to the example of the punk rock singer, she built her own network based on who she was. She didn't have to fit into a box. So she did some singing, or she did some, crazy, I love this, hard edge jewelry type thing, or whatever it is that was really about her. And that was her jabs. She started off as a challenger and became a coach because she wanted to help other people, but focused more on who she was than what she was selling. And so that's why those jabs are so important to building those relationships, because then she had this huge network of people that were just like her. But at the core, we all know, no matter if you're a punk rocker or not, you want to feel good about yourself. So after all those jabs and creating those relationships, she then may throw out there, hey, I'm doing this workout. Does anyone want to join me? And she's got this ginormous network of people that is in her niche market. So they trust her. And then there's the reliability and the credibility of who she is. So no matter what you are, or who you are, or what you like, there's a million other people that are going to be able to relate to you. So it really does start with you. And, going back to this building these relationships and putting yourself out there and turning your mess sometimes into a message is kind of how I like to see it too, because we all have our situations and our stories. But the key thing to remember is that it does take time. It could take 2, 3, 4 months for people to really kind of latch on to what you're doing. So I want you to remember that these things do take time. These are real relationships. We're not trying to sell things, just sell things. We're trying to build these relationships. So it does take time. And once you do all this type of stuff, and you are consistent, you're going to be the first person that people think of, or they're going to be able to relate to you, and they're going to trust you, and they're going to want to do these things with you, right? So, okay. So that was going back a little bit. Now speeding up here. But talking about your niche, those 3 to 5 things, I encourage you to write those down. You did it in the team page, but think a little harder about that. Like for me, I feel like I have a pretty solid niche market, And that is, the military, and I'm a runner, and I'm a mom of twins. And, I have things that I can be consistently posting about that I know they're going to be attracting people. And this is a little bit where Instagram comes in. I said we might kind of meld some information in there. That's what hashtags are for, right? You love horses, you love shoes, you love, MAC makeup, whatever it is, build a network that way. It's a lot easier on Instagram to find your niche market than it is on Facebook. But if you're not using Instagram, you have to be using Instagram. There's like 2 billion people out there on Instagram, and it's so much easier to find your niche market. I will literally do hashtag female Marine. Do you know how many new contacts I've gotten in the past week? I mean, it's crazy if you just focus on what you are and the essence of who you are and how you're able to build those relationships. Now, if you're sitting there telling me that you don't have a niche market, you're wrong. You do. There's something about you that is unique. Yes, on to the next slide. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So the things that you can do to engage, and this is really the meat and the potatoes of what I want to talk about, was the engagement and adding value, okay? So if you're thinking, okay, well, what kind of things can I post about to build engagement? Because engagement equals connection. It's all these things. So videos are huge, you guys. I do workout videos, and it's 15 seconds. It's just a move for my workout. You don't have to do it correctly. You don't have to be perfect at this. If workout videos is something that you like, great. If you're more into nutrition and cooking, make a quick video about a great recipe you have, or maybe it's a new Shakeology recipe. Or if you're comfortable with it, maybe it's something funny that your kids did. I don't know about you, but my kids are nuts, and they sing and dance in the kitchen all the time. And I love to record them, and I'm comfortable with posting those sort of things. And those are entertaining, and it also shows that, you're a mom, or you like to cook, or whatever it is, and you're creating the interaction. People love to hear your voice and see your face and see, oh, she's real, she's out there. Or maybe it's entertaining videos. Sometimes I'll find those little snippets on Facebook, and they're like 10 seconds long. There's one with this guy doing a weird dance on a treadmill. I posted that on my page. I think I got like 5,000 views on that just from my page alone. So what happens when you post something that has a high engagement element? It gets shared. It gets shared, and people start seeing your stuff, or they see you, or they want a friend request you, or whatever it is. So those are, videos are crazy. I'll get like 200-300 views on a video in the first 5 minutes. And even if you don't, you feel like you have a ceiling, if you're talking about your business page here and you only have 500 people, that thing can get shared with thousands of people, and it can be traced back to you. So it's a big deal. Polls or questions. I love this. This is a way to get to know your people. It doesn't matter if this is on your fitness page or your personal page. This will always create engagement, because guess what? People want to talk about themselves, or they want to talk about what they know, like big time. So polls or questions. I love doing this if I'm going out, date night, or maybe I bought a new workout outfit. And I'm like, hey, which one do you like best, A or B? Think about that when you're out shopping. What if you try on 2 tops and you're like, I don't know which one I like? Boom, put it out there, right? That's you sharing who you are, sharing your taste. That's getting yourself out of the box of, I'm just a Beachbody coach. No, it's not. It's someone who's out there shopping, or someone that, that likes to dress up and go out. You could do a poll or question on advice. If you're a parent and you're having issues with kids, ask the other moms out there. Again, personal or fitness page, it doesn't matter. This is a way for people to get to know you. And keep in mind that every time, what either page you're using, the more engagement you have, the more important Facebook sees you, okay? Which means that your world expands and more people can see your stuff. So if you have 800 friends and you notice that maybe you only interact with about 20 to 30, that's because you only interact with those 20 or 30. But if you get other people starting to respond to your stuff on Facebook, all of a sudden you're like 100, 200, 300. That opens up doors for you. So polls or questions, opinions on foods or products. Sometimes when I'm out and about and I see a product that I'm like, that looks cool, but I don't know. Like the powdered peanut butter thing. I posted a picture of that, and I got people going crazy because, one, people know I'm a peanut butter addict. I built that brand, right? That's my niche market. But asking about, hey, This looks good. Have you guys tried this? Because it shows that you value their opinion, and that's huge. Workout pictures. This is one of my favorite ways to motivate people, and I get a lot of response to these. And it can be very simple because sometimes a picture can just speak volumes. And if you feel like, well, I don't know how to take a picture of myself working out, or I don't have a spouse to take pictures of me, figure it out. There's ways to do this. Prop it up on 4 books. I mean, trust me, I've got nuts. I've had to prop it on doorknobs and then have a broom holding up the other side. And this is before I bought a tripod, or I'm sorry, an adapter to a tripod for $12. You can figure it out. If you don't have the answer, find the answer. But workout pictures are fantastic because this is you showing that you're proof of the product, right? It doesn't, get out of the box and maybe it's just the same picture over and over again. I did one today that I really liked, and it was a quick picture, and then I put some words on it, and I had 20 likes on this and questions about it within the first half hour. And this was on my personal page. Put a really good motivational quote on there, because usually when you have the quote in the picture, you don't have to say a whole lot. Or maybe it's like, this is my morning ritual, or, hey, Monday, I'm ready for you. You ready for me type things, or whatever that is. But those are really motivational. Another way to engage people is recipes. What I like to do sometimes, which is kind of a sneaky way to create engagement, is I'll post a recipe that I made, so you can tell it's personal, and it's, there's my hands, or maybe I'll have it and I'm looking at it or whatever. And I'll say, I made this killer turkey chili. Who wants the recipe? So when that happens, people start to comment, I do, right? With the more comments I have on that picture, the more important Facebook sees that, because they think, well, shoot, she's getting 20, 30, 40 comments on this recipe. We better push her stuff up. Again, that gets shared, all right? But even sometimes recipes alone, if you don't want to go that route, recipes alone, people love them because what do they do with them? They share them, especially if they have peanut butter and avocado in it. I'm not kidding. Those 2 recipes, anything that involves those 2, I don't know why, but people go nuts over them. People love healthy fats, I guess. But if it's something that is within your message, you wouldn't post like a double stuffed brownie with whipped cream and say, oh, by the way, join my challenge group. Like, it's got to make sense. A healthier version of something, which goes into another, what I forgot to put on this list here, but is like a how-to or a tool or a tip, right? How to make this healthier, because the message, part of your message is living healthy, wellness, fitness, that sort of thing. It's not everything you talk about, but it's part of it. So maybe it's, hey, I found a cleaner version of mac and cheese. You could do, a picture of this and then a picture of your recipe and have the recipe there. People love that kind of stuff. You are creating value by giving them a tip or a tool. So if you were to alternate between all these different things, you can't run out of ideas, you guys. This is such a valuable way to create engagement. And again, these are jabs, all right? You always want to add something personal in there at some point. Maybe you make this recipe and you show a picture of your kids going nuts on the healthy mac and cheese. Look, she's a mom. Look, she cooks clean. Look, she's got a recipe to share. That's going to go. Like, people are going to share that kind of stuff. Another thing that I have done, which is fun, is giveaways. So if you've got some extra Shakeology, or maybe you have an extra shaker cup, or maybe you hit Success Club and you got one of the free gifts in the mail. Sometimes we'll get those bobbleheads. Mine always break. I don't have any, but, or maybe you have like a t-shirt. I got a P90 t-shirt, or whatever it is. You can use those as giveaways. That's free stuff. Why not? Or maybe it's a book or something that you've already read that's in good condition, whatever it is. But giveaways, by asking people to comment and then share, I mean, that's huge. You get so many shares. And then when you use it on your personal page, then people start to want to friend request you. We'll go into a little bit more information about the personal page, but either way, you're getting out there. You're getting exposure. So the last point I'll make on the engagement, and this is so extremely important, I need you guys to write this down. Every post must have a purpose. Okay? Don't randomly post things. Every post must tell a story or have a purpose. So if you're going to post a picture of your dog and you're just like, here's me and my dog, great. I mean, you're showing who you are and you're showing you have a dog, right? But what is that? What kind of story is that telling? Are you talking about your lifestyle or coaching or challenge groups or whatever that is? Like, what is the purpose of that? I think a lot about when we post about coaching opportunities. I'll post pictures of, I'm getting on my team call, or, hey, I'm going on a midweek road trip. Like, you understand why I'm posting those, right? I'm showing people that I've got this freedom. And I can't tell you how many times people will say, I want to do that. I want to live that way. Tell me about what you do. So every post must tell a story. It's so important to think, how is this going to come across to somebody? Okay. Okay. The magic question, I get this a lot, is, should I use my personal page? Should I have a business page? Whatever that is. And the bottom line is, if you have a business page, you guys, you will have to put money into it. Bottom line, you will have to put money into it. And we've talked about this before. This is where the ads come in, which are super, super helpful. But if you don't have it in your budget to create a business page and spend money on ads, then absolutely use your personal page. I did not do this in the beginning. I will be honest. I had no clue what I was doing in the beginning. I've learned a lot over the years. But you got to use your warm market on your personal page. You have to, because it's those people that already know you and trust you. That's half the battle, right? I know many coaches that don't even have a business page at all. Then there's people like me who have both. And I think it's extremely important to use your personal page first. Get good at all this stuff. Get good at the engagement. Get good at being social and creating new contacts and bringing them into your world. And I know some people say, well, I want to keep things separate. Okay, if you want to keep it separate, I understand that. But you will have to spend money on your business page in order for people to see things, because Facebook's rules are different now. There's so many business pages out there that if you want your stuff to be seen, you're going to have to pay for it. I pay $150 a month to continuously run an ad. If I don't run an ad, my stuff rarely gets seen. I don't know the rules on that, but that is what it is. 16,000 followers, and I still have to pay monthly for my ad, okay? I'm okay with that because I have that budget. But that's what I started out doing. And I just encourage you to use your personal page. And then once you get to a point where you feel like I'm running out of contacts, or, then start thinking about a business page. But just understand that it will cost you money. It doesn't have to be super expensive, but you will have to put something into it. Otherwise, you're going to have 200 likes forever on your business page. So make sure you don't count anyone out on your personal page, all right? Okay, so these are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. Is some no-nos, some things that I've done in the past, quite honestly, and it was not good. I've also seen other people do it, so I want to bring them up. But don't share other coaches' posts, because what you're doing is you're advertising those coaches. If it's great content, use that as inspiration. Don't copy what they're doing. Use it as inspiration. Or if it's something, maybe they posted a video from Carl Deichler, great, find the video and then post it from your page. Don't share their page, all right? No blurry pics. Pay attention to what your pictures look like. People want to see connection. People want to see your face. Unless you're doing maybe like a workout picture or something. But people want that connection. If you've got a blurry picture, you're not going to look very professional. So make sure you're looking at your pictures and look at it from a fresh set of eyes. Think, what would I think if I saw this? Would I stop scrolling to my newsfeed and pay attention to this? Does it capture me? Does it create something emotional? I've been guilty of this, but no motivational pictures from Pinterest without context. What that means is, oh, that's a good picture. Boom, pop it up there. Guess how many people are probably going to like that? Like 3. Doesn't matter how many followers you have. Probably 3 or 4. Because it doesn't have any personal story attached to it. It doesn't have anything that screams you. It doesn't have your words, your voice, your thoughts. But excuse me. Plus, a little tip here. Pics that you find off of Google, Pinterest, wherever the web, the more they have been seen out in the public, the less they'll be shown on your page. Okay, I read that somewhere. I don't know why. I think it was in jab, 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 right hook. I don't know why. But if it's a picture that's already been used multiple times, it will not show up very often. It'll only get a small amount of exposure. So my suggestion is if you find a quote that you like, put that on a picture of you or something that is about you or you telling a story or, you know what I mean? Something that's more personal. Don't just pop that up and then expect that to reach everyone you know. Don't go long periods of time without posting. We talked about this. Facebook knows if you post once every other day, your exposure rate is going to go down. This is where the consistency matters, not just because you have people that are kind of expecting you and you want to build those relationships, but Facebook will literally stop showing your stuff. So, and this happened to me. When I was in Cancun, I was trying to post as much as I could. Service was terrible. I was having a hard time getting things out there. And you can see your reach. Facebook will tell you your reach. My reach was cut in half because I was not posting 3 to 4 times a day. So then you got to work really hard to get that back up. It's kind of like when you eat really, really healthy and you feel really good, and then you have 4 days of cheat meals and you gain 5 pounds and you're like, crap, now I got to start all over. It's kind of the same feeling, all right? Facebook, there's a rhythm to it. It's just the internet. It's just how it goes. Last thought is be subtle, no major product shots. And again, I have been guilty of this. This is the only reason I can say this sort of stuff. But if your posts consistently are this, join my challenge group. That's not going to fly. All right. It's just not, because people are going to see this as very salesy. All right. It doesn't mean that you can't talk about it, but maybe put it in a different way. Because that's going to come across as very salesy, and that's not what you're doing. Use a personal story, use a personal experience or something if you're trying to do a call to action. But don't, and I'm going to do an example on the next slide here about what is what's good, what's bad sort of thing. But I think you kind of get that point there. So, okay. So this is one that I really liked. I could not put the text over here for some reason. I wasn't allowed to, but I wanted you guys to be able to talk out loud about this and tell me what you thought was wrong. So the one on the left with the fish, this is her only post. This is all she wrote. What are your big dreams? Did you know that you're more likely to achieve your goals when you share them? She had 7 likes on this page. By the way, she's a top coach. I was kind of shocked by this. This is why I wanted to show this. No comments and 7 likes. Very, very, very little engagement. Would you respond to this if you saw this on a newsfeed? No, you don't know her, right? Maybe you know her name, but you don't know her. This isn't calling to you. I would not respond to this, all right? So this one over here, this is what I like. Obviously, it's a personal picture. Decide you want it more than you are afraid of it. To me, that speaks to me. And the text that I wasn't able to add was her talking about what she did today. She dropped her kids off at school. She did her P90X3. She went for a run. She had a great breakfast. She said something about ready to take on my Monday, or is the world ready for me, or something to that effect. That to me would make me go, this is a badass chick. All right, she's killing it. What did I learn about her? She's a mom. She eats well. She's making time for herself. There was a purpose to this post. And there was no call to action. It was just a Monday morning post. This, for me, this would be something that I was more attracted to. Do you guys agree to that?
Yeah.
More personal? Okay. This one, okay. Have your own transformation. This is something that I think a lot of people forget about, me included, because it takes time and effort for you to do your own workout programs, right? And sometimes that falls to the side. But if you want to be a successful coach and you want people to trust you and want to join you, you got to have your own transformations. You can't just preach it and not practice it. So if you look on the left here, if someone posted this and you were not involved in Beachbody, you didn't know what was going on, this would mean nothing to me. I'd be like, oh, a bunch of colored stuff and some discs. Okay. Nothing would really grab me. But if I saw this, I would be like, holy crap, she looks great. And then she's got a story attached to this. Which one would catch your attention? This one, right? Yeah, she looks fantastic. This is Anita Myron. You know, she's one of our top coaches now. She does a great job at this sort of stuff. She's big on transformations. And you guys, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do, I mean, is it important for your own health to do programs start to finish? Yeah, absolutely. But you can even do your own, like, hey, this was my arm a month ago and this is my arm now. Look, I'm gaining muscle, you know, whatever that may be, but showing that you are proof of the product, showing that, hey, what I'm talking about works. Hey, what I'm asking you to do, I'm doing too. So it's important to have your own transformation, big or little. All right. All right, so I'll stop there because I want to hear, hi, Connie, you're on. I didn't even see you. But I'm going to go ahead and let you guys take it off mute, and I'd love to do some Q&A and kind of get your thoughts and stuff. Oh. It's okay.
Oh, it's okay, honey. Hold on.
Do you want to, Emily, put it on? There you go. Just real quick until she's done. Okay. All right. So I'll leave you. You guys have any Q&As or anything you want to talk about? God, his hair's bugging me.
I guess I'm just kind of curious. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to do posting and add value, but not be talking about myself all day long. Like, that's just not cool.
Well, think about what I was just talking about. You could do videos. You could do, I mean, you are the brand, so you got to be in there somewhere. You know, whether it's workout pictures, maybe you're sharing a recipe. But the thing is that this is about you too. I mean, no, it doesn't have to be all about you. This is not the Rebecca show or the Marcel show, you know? But that's why I'm saying that whatever you're posting has to create value and tell a story, because majority of it does have to be about your life, because that's why people are following you. But, you know, it doesn't have to be a selfie of you 3 times a day. And I get what you're saying. I struggle with that too. I'm like, I need to do a personal post. I don't want to do another selfie. But it's things like, that's why it's really good to have those recipes or the videos, or, you know, you're big into like awesome heels, stuff like that, the opinions, the questions. Think about something that's happening in your life and ask a question about it. Or if you're kind of feeling stuck, you know, find something to ask a question about it. It could be something totally related. What if you like, let's see. What if you like, if you had $50,000 to spend on a car, would you go for a classic car or would you go for a brand new truck, right? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be necessarily about you, but what that does is that creates engagement, and you're asking a question and you're learning about the people that are answering the question. That gets you cool at some point. So if 10 of them said classic car, classic car, classic car, you're like, oh, I know my audience. Classic cars. So next time you are at a car show, take a picture with you next to it being like, what? You know what I mean? Like, you just, that's a way to create engagement. So that's one way.
That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Sure. Connie, you do really good with the transformation photos, and I see a lot of people respond to you. What other things are you doing? Do you have a fitness page?
I have a poorly maintained one. I've learned a lot just in the last 20 minutes, so I'm kind of excited now.
Oh, good.
I'm
talking benefited somebody.
Yeah, I'm still far from my goal, so I'm super intimidated by putting anything other than like the progress. Like,
but that's wonderful though.
Okay.
That's exactly what, do you realize I've seen your stuff and people are cheering you on. Like, that is amazing. No, you don't, that's what I love, you guys. That's what I love about this business. You don't have to be perfect. But you know what that says about you, Connie? It says that you are driven. It says that you are badass. It says that you're motivated and that you want to live a better life. Okay? If you did a progress picture where it's like, here's me and now I'm perfect, I don't need Beachbody anymore, or I don't need the rest of you. You know what I mean? Like, that's not connection. That's not connection. That's not relatable. so many moms out there are like, I want to feel better about myself. And when they think, who do I know that could help me get to that point, or who's done that for themselves, they're going to think about you. This makes sense? Come here, baby. So, anyone else? Thoughts, questions? Jennifer, you look like the wheels are turning.
Me?
Yeah.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Well, share with us.
Well, I really like motivational quotes and pictures, but they do terrible when I post them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll reach like 20 people.
Right.
And I never thought to put them on a picture of me.
Oh, really?
It's never dawned on me. And they're powerful. Like, they're very powerful for me, and they motivate me. Another thought I had is maybe what you were saying, Connie. And this is one thing my husband encourages me to do, is like, just keep it real and keep it honest. Like, I started Insanity a few weeks ago, and a week later, after I'd started it, I weighed myself and I was down 0.5 pound. And I was so upset. I was almost in tears. And he's like, you need to share that. And I was like, why? It's like no success. He's like, but that's real life and people will connect with that. So I try really hard to keep things honest and real, and because people know when it's not you.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're smart and they figure it out. And the posts I do that are of my messy life, like I did one today about being sick all weekend. It was like the worst Mother's Day weekend. We were all sick. It was terrible. But people responded really well. And one lady was like, I love your honesty and how real you are in your posts. And that like really meant a lot to me. So people don't connect with perfection. I think they connect with messiness.
They do, though, because it is real. I mean, you're not perfect. Neither am I. None of us are. I don't care what anyone says. Nobody is perfect. But when you see someone that can admit that, and my favorite part is to put a silver lining on it. Sure, you can show, you know, your struggles with insanity or whatever, saying I'm not having success or whatever. That's good to show, but it's also good to have that silver lining about, I may not be where I am, but I'm one step closer.
Yeah.
Or whatever that is. Or it may be hard, but I'm not giving up. That's what people go, okay, all right, I like her style. You know, like, that shows that drive and that motivation in you that people want to work with or people want to be around. Kale, I'm working, sweetie.
Yeah, I've noticed that, you know, trying to make sure that you find the balance of being real and honest, but like, I've seen a couple people that they post an awful lot about their setbacks, and I'm thinking, well, we all have them, but got to be a balance where if all you're having is setbacks, I don't feel like that's very motivational, but you don't want to not ever talk about any and have people be like, well, you know, she never cheats on her, you know, meal plan or whatever, because then they don't identify with it. So yeah,
I love to show those pictures because I cheat on my meal plan all the time. I mean, I loved that because most people think it's hilarious. And like, when I literally ate 1/2 box of Girl Scout cookies and I admitted on Facebook, I was so embarrassed. But I remember, like, I was just having one of those days. The kids were literally running in circles. The dog was barking. I think I may have had a visit from Aunt Flo. Something was going on that day where I was just literally like Cookie Monster. I could not stop. I was like, like Thin Mints were like flying out of my face, you know? And I just started laughing. And I was like, I cannot believe I did that. But in the moment, I couldn't stop myself. There could have been like an armored shield and I still would have found a way to get those cookies, right? But how many times has that happened to you? But you know what I did? I stopped eventually. I mean, maybe 14, 18 cookies later, I stopped. And then I got up the next day and I worked out. And I posted a picture of that and I was dripping sweat. And I was like, this is my walk of shame. You know, and I speak to the people on my page, whether it's personal or fitness, I speak to them as if, you know, we're talking right now. And I'm like, you guys, I suck. I ate a box of cookies. You know? And it's okay. Because someone else did too. And this girl was like, I am so glad that I follow you. Like, you make me feel so much better about all my cheat meals. And I was like, hallelujah, we're people, we're human. I'm not a coach because I'm a human. I'm a coach because I've been there, right? That's all it is. This, there's no secret to social media. Yes, you need to think about it, but there's no secret. You're already living your life. All you're going to do is show people your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. It's just a matter of being self-aware and being like, what am I doing in my life right now? What am I doing that someone might be able to relate to? And I think about that all the time. And it's not me walking to the car or me getting the mail. Those things don't matter. It's, if I'm connecting with you guys, or if I'm building a business, or if I am doing the walk of shame. Those are the things that people do want to hear about because they want to know they're not alone. And that's what builds trust.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. It's I know it can be overwhelming, but it's so important. And I think social media should be our fourth vital behavior. I'm not kidding. It has to be, because you could be doing all three vital behaviors, and then if you weren't sharing your life, and I 99% of my business is Facebook, so this is why I'm so adamant about it. But if you weren't sharing what you were doing, nobody would know what the heck you're doing. Maybe your friends and family, but if you're anything like me, I'm so busy, I don't see people that often. Like maybe, once every couple of weeks at an outing or something, or moms at the kids' school, right? But it's not like I'm in my 20s where I see them every night at happy hour anymore. So that's what social media does. It's so powerful. It can literally make or break your business. And it's just simply sharing what you're doing. Don't overthink it. If you're literally dripping sweat, take a picture of it and be like, this is what it looks like. Like, who cares if you look bad? Half my pictures are me with no makeup. That's fine. That's who I am.
I definitely overthought stuff when I first started. I was always like frozen and couldn't think of anything. And I did the stock photo stuff that you had to tell me to knock it off, because I just thought it was better to do that than nothing at all. But you're absolutely right. So as far as like the new people, where it feels like, okay, well, it's better to just post something than nothing, but it really isn't. So don't do it.
No, I'd rather have one or two, and this is because I just said post at least 3 times a day, but I'd literally rather have 1 or 2 really, really good posts a day than 5 really bad ones. Mm-hmm. Because those 5 bad ones say nothing about you.
Well, and they're going to drive people away.
Yeah, exactly. What was I going to say?
Sorry, I know. I interrupted you.
No, it's okay. I want you to forget that you work with Beachbody. I mean, if you need to do that, take that off your plate. Mm-hmm. This is you. This is your brand. Okay, this is Jennifer's brand. This is Jennifer's business, the same as it's Ashley's business. All right, this is all about you. It's just about sharing what you're doing. You are a coach. You don't have to pretend to be anyone different. If Ashley had a secret fetish for, finger socks or whatever that is, fine. Talk about finger socks. I don't know what they're called, but whatever that may be, like, be yourself. The whole example of the punk rocker just made a light bulb go off. You don't have to be this hard-bodied, insanity-loving person to build a network. I see people on Instagram all the time, and I don't even know they're coaches. That's the kind of person I like. They're not doing pictures of Shakeology. I will do pictures sometimes for my Shakeologies, like in the background, but it's different than, hi, want to join my team? Right? Like, you'd be like, oh, great, another Beachbody coach. You want someone to be like, I like her, not I like that she's a Beachbody coach. And so I just take Beachbody out of your head, like Emily is a very talented dancer. She looks terrified that I just said her name. She's a very talented dancer. That is her niche. Like, that is her thing. She's been dancing since she could walk. Like, that's just her thing. So when she starts to put herself out there, that's part of who she is. And she's going to attract other dancers. She's going to attract other people that are just like her. And guess what? Those dancers want to have a good, healthy, happy life, right? So when she eventually says, after she's built this trust and everything, says, hey, I'm doing this product, or she posts a transformation picture about herself and people go, what? you look amazing. What are you doing? She goes, let me show you. Come do it with me. Right? So think about it that way.
That was one question I had with when you mentioned brand. I got all excited to like have a business name and like make it something more personal other than like Beachbody Coach. But then I got concerned, like, well, no one's gonna know what that means. Like, and then I'm gonna have to explain it. And so I wonder like how much to focus on the term Beachbody in my post versus like my business name. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think it depends on the situation. So I did a post yesterday, I think, and I was talking about the growth of my income. In that situation, I have to say Beachbody because people are going to be like, well, are you a prostitute? Like, what are you talking about, you know? But I have to say what I'm doing.
Right.
But it's a situation where I'm with my kids and, you know, we're having a healthy picnic at the park. I'm not going to say, thank you, Beachbody, for making me think I want to eat better. I'm just going to say, I'm with my kids. It's a Wednesday afternoon and I'm here. And, you know, there's things that you can kind of drop every now and then because you do want people to know what you're doing. So I think it's just a very subtle thing. You know, there are, you know, posts where my kids are sick and I get to stay home with them. I would say, you know, because of my job as a coach, I'm able to do this, things like that. But it wouldn't be something you would drop every time. Does that make more sense?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So Ashley, as a newer coach, what are your thoughts on this kind of stuff? Because I know you're really starting to kind of get into this social media stuff a little bit.
Yeah. I think at first, I was kind of, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but I was like, well, I don't want to annoy my friends, but I don't have a lot of people on this page, on my, you know, like on my fitness page, because, you know, I made one like right out the gate. I was like, I have to have a page, and I like that, you know what I mean? And I keep up with both of them and share different stuff on both of them, and sometimes, you know, just, I don't know, share stuff from the page on the personal page. But anyway, aside from that, I was like, my biggest thing about posting like videos and stuff was I was like, I want to make sure that I'm like, you know, I have like good form and stuff, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to post a video and then have people be like, that looks really crappy. There's no way, you know what I mean, that I ever want or.
No, I agree with that part. Yeah, you want to make sure you're doing it properly, but you don't need to have hair done and the clothes.
I mean, my hair is up like this. Just look at it, and I'm like sweat. I take a ton of sweaty pictures. You know, I think it's. You and I spoke. When was it? Like last week, and you were like, just be honest. Like tell people what you're doing. That was a game-changing conversation for me because I was just like, okay, I can do that. So, you know, I started making videos on my iPad, which is incredibly easy. Download an app that I can put text on pictures, a free app, incredibly easy. And, I mean, ever since that conversation that you and I had, I've just been doing that. And the response I've had is huge.
Good.
I mean, you know, like I told you the other day, teachers at school stopped me in the hallway. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And then I have people messaging me over Facebook. What is it that you're doing? Can we meet up and can we talk? I mean, I'm not even asking them, do you want to meet up and talk? They're messaging me. Can we meet up and talk? Can you tell me what you're doing? And that's just for me, just posting. I mean, and, you know, you were talking about like, you know, posting with a purpose. You've seen my stuff. I'm here in my living room. My rug is rolled up on my couch. And I remember I was like, I should move that. And then I was like, no, I shouldn't. Not yet. Because I want people to see that I move my ottoman and I roll up my rug and I make this happen in my very small living room. Like, because I've had people say, you know, I don't have a lot of room, but I see that you're making it happen, so I can too. So it'll be a while before I take the rug out of the pictures, but that's just, you know, being what I consider a smart businesswoman, just thinking, you know, thinking about that stuff. But when you say don't overthink it, that's the truth. I mean, if you're sweaty and you're red-faced and you think you look terrible, that's the best photo op you can put up, because you just showed people that you do it too, you know? So,
and the key point to add to that is, yes, the picture is great, the show that you just did get your butt kicked, but it's also about what you say. Is it, you don't just say, oh, finished my workout, feeling good. That's no one's going to relate to that. They're like, oh, okay, what the heck? It's, you know, I was 23 minutes in and I wanted to give up. I almost turned the TV off and about walked away. But then I remembered, you know, whatever. I mean, you're telling a story, right? You're telling what went on in your head. So I did one yesterday where I went for a run and I just felt like I weighed 500 pounds. I'm just like up this hill, you know, like just, I looked like Phoebe from Friends when she runs. Have you seen that episode? Yeah. I was like running up this hill, like dying. And I probably didn't look that bad, but that's how I felt. And I came back and I was just sitting on my porch and I was like, that was a failure. And I was like, that was a failure. That was a failure. So I took a picture as soon as I got back from my run and I was like, I couldn't get my fat ass up the hill. You know, like I said that and people loved it because again, it showed that I was real. But then the next day I showed, I'm killing it. I'm doing it. You know, you got to show both sides. You got to show exactly what's happening. We can't overthink it. We can't plan it. We can't, you know, put the rug out of the picture. I mean, that was such a great example. It is what it is. So, but make sure you have that personal side to it too. Yeah. It kills me when people just do a picture and they're just like, woo, all done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Like you got to have some personal something to it. So, because yeah, you guys all have so much to offer and it's just so important that you can use who you are to build this business. I mean, I've seen it and I've felt it and I want you guys to feel it too. It's such an incredible thing to be able to share who you are and to be comfortable with sharing who you are. There's nothing about any of you that is wrong or bad. And so I want you to tap into that. I know it's scary and I've had conversations with many coaches that are like, I'm terrified to do this. You guys, I'm terrified to do a lot of things that I do, but I do it anyway. Because when I do that, it builds my own confidence. And you know what it's gotten me to the point is that I don't care what anyone thinks. I have my own moral compass. I'm a big girl. I can figure out if it's right or wrong. I feel like I have a pretty good system. So anyway, I could talk forever. So it's been an hour. But anyone else? Kristen, Emily, you've been kind of quiet. Anyone?
I just wanted to say that you mentioned something like, I'm glad somebody got something out of this call, but hang on one second. Sorry.
I'm just taking it all in. I just think that, being sick too over Mother's Day weekend really sucked. And just, trying to transition into doing this and get everything organized and really like sit down and think about what I want people to know about me. Like what picture do I want to use when I actually say, hey, this is my before picture, as scary as that is, and I really want to use like the worst one I can find, you don't want it to be like, I want it to be like, this is right after I had my daughter, look at, and then over years of hard work, that kind of stuff and be able to be a living proof of the product. And so I've just trying to write all my thoughts down and organize everything. It's been great just to listen and to observe and to write stuff down and to watch you guys and go through the page and just all that support. It's just starting to really, it's like being back in high school where you had to do the outlines with all the bubbles and you're trying to figure out, okay, I have all these ideas and where to start, what's the most effective way to start? Do you get a business page? Do you not get a business page?
Right.
Do you I would be in the team of, you should have a business page. If you know, for me, that would help to organize myself a little bit better, because I also have an actor page and I have the things that I do as an artist. So I'm like, this is just as important, if not more. So I need to be able to give that its own brand of, hey, this is me, this is what I do. And then if you want to see what else I do, you can connect it to your other pages. But I think that this has been so beneficial for me just to sit here and listen to you guys talk. And as I go through and I stalk you all on your pages of what you guys are doing, and just how successful and interesting you guys all are, just being yourselves, that's really inspiring to me. You know, just the not giving a crap about what people think and offending people, and just putting yourself out there as as your own brand. And of course you want to hit the ground running, like, should I do a blog too? Should I do this and this and this?
Slow down.
No. And that's when I remember our conversation. You were like, don't try to reinvent anything. Just be yourself and just share. And I think it's so simple, and being able to listen to you guys. I'm really excited now that I've got my Beachbody. I got my challenge pack today in the mail with my Shakeology. And I was like, I've missed this flavor so much. But also just to be able to be living proof of the product and start the 21-day Fix Extreme. And
good. This is your opportunity to start having your own transformation, you know?
Yeah.
So, well, good. I'm glad you made it tonight. So
yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So Kristen, did you have something to say?
I did. I was just going to say that I forget where I left off, but basically I dropped off the map, and I was slacking in my workouts and everything else. So I kind of stopped posting. I just stopped. And I did worry about too much what people were going to think, say, whatever. But I remembered that why I decided to do this and why it's important to me, and that you can admit failure, and that sometimes talking about what you're doing keeps you on the path you want to be on. Sorry, I just had a conversation that really threw me for a loop when I said hang on. But basically, I was just saying I am getting something out of this call because I needed to be reminded of what we do, who we are, why we do it, and the whole process and the right and wrong way to do things, because I plan to get back in the swing of things. So I needed this reminder. You saw I was getting in the car, I was doing errands, and I was like, I got to figure out a way to make this work, because I haven't been on a team call in weeks, and I decided it was important to me. So here I am.
Well, I'm glad you made it.
Even getting questioned on right now. Here I am.
Well, I'm glad you're here, and I want you to follow your heart. And if this is the right place for you to be, then you're more than welcome. You know, I just want you to feel, confident in what you're doing. And
I lost that for a minute. So.
Right. Yeah. No, I understand that, and it happens, you know. It can be anything you want it to be, Kristen. It really can.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys all know that. I mean, it can be as big as you want or as little as you want. It's up to how much you put into it. Hi. It depends on the amount of effort you put into it. You know, what are you doing on a daily basis? What are you showing up to the team calls is a huge deal. I mean, right. I talk about to a lot of the coaches that you put in the time for your business, I'll put in the time to help you build your business. And I mean that. The people that show up to these things, and I know there's things that, people can't control. That's understandable. But if you're making a choice not to be here, then that shows, you're making a choice to not build a business. And that's fine too. But like I said, it can be as big or as little as you want. Depends on what you do. It really is. And I'm here to help you and cheer you on the whole way. So anyway.
Woohoo!
Yay! All right. I don't know about you, but I'm losing steam. And I know it's getting late for a lot of you who are on the East Coast. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up unless there's anything super important you guys want to add real quick. Nope. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. It was so good to see you guys. And don't forget, Next week's call is Wednesday on the 20th. There's going to be a lot of new faces, but I'd love to see all you guys there. It's going to be like all of my downline. Okay. I mean, it's going to be a lot of people. So make an effort to be there. Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.